Welcome to the SmartKeys podcast.
It's great to be here.
You know, usually when we sit down at these microphones, we're dissecting the latest SaaS valuation or debating whether an AI agent can actually replace a project manager.
Right. We love our tech stacks.
We love optimizing workflows in the cloud. We really do.
We're always looking for that digital edge.
But today, we're going to do something a little different. We're looking at a piece of source material that argues the single biggest logistical challenge for a massive chunk of the workforce isn't software.
No.
It isn't server downtime. It isn't even AI. It's parenting.
It's the ultimate project management test, right? I mean, the stakes are higher, the team members are, well, let's just say volatile.
And there is zero downtime.
Zero.
So we're doing a deep dive into a comprehensive guide. It's titled Working Parents, Productivity Tips to Balance Work and Family Duties by Felix Römer, which was published just recently, February 2026. Now, I want to be clear right off the bat. If you don't have kids, do not hit skip.
Please don't. That would be a mistake.
This is not just a parenting episode.
Not at its core, no.
This is a future of work episode.
Yeah.
It's about systems thinking. It's about how we stop bleeding efficiency in our daily lives. You know, whether you manage parents, work with parents, or plan to be one someday.
Exactly. And if you look at the broader economic landscape, this is a massive friction point. We're not just talking about missing a stand-up because a toddler has a fever.
Right.
We are talking about systemic inefficiencies that, well, they drag down the entire GDP. The source material hits us with some hard data right out of the gate that really frames this perfectly.
Yeah, let's unpack those numbers because they are honestly staggering. I think we all intuitively know it's hard, but the data, it paints a much starker picture.
It really does. So we're looking at childcare shortages affecting between 1.2 and 1.5 million workers.
Wow.
Every single month. That's a small city's worth of people just unable to clock in effectively.
Because the infrastructure isn't there.
It's not. But here's the stat from the report that really it stopped me in my tracks. The economy loses between 9 and 26 million potential work hours every week.
Wait, 26 million hours?
Weekly.
That is an insane amount of lost productivity. That's not just like a bad quarter. That's a structural leak.
It is. I mean, think about that in terms of project shipping dates.
Yeah.
Think about that in terms of innovation. So when we talk about productivity on the show, yes, a new project management tool is great. But if we don't solve the infrastructure of care, we're leaking a massive amount of talent and time.
So it's not just a personal struggle.
No, it's a macroeconomic issue.
That really sets the stakes.
Yeah.
So, okay, the mission for this deep dive is to take Römer's article and break it down into two main buckets.
Right.
We're going to look at the macro problem, you know, the costs, the career impact, the retention crisis, basically why this is burning everyone out. And then, and this is where I think our listeners will get the most value,
The tactical stuff.
we're going to pivot to the micro solutions.
The actual systems.
Yeah, right. The time-smart systems you can actually use in your house today to stop the bleeding. Because, look, we can't fix the economy in 20 minutes, but we can fix your morning routine.
Sounds like a solid plan.
Let's start with that strategic landscape. The source calls it the money pinch. I think everyone knows childcare is expensive, but the source puts a very specific price tag on it.
It does. As of 2024, the average childcare bill hit roughly 13,128 eyes a year.
13,000.
And what's fascinating, or, you know, maybe terrifying, is the trajectory. That's a 29% increase just since 2020. That is outpacing inflation in almost every other sector.
That is steep. And for context, $13,000 isn't pocket change. I mean, that's a compact tart. It's a significant chunk of a mortgage.
Oh, absolutely. For many families, that rivals their rent or their car payments. It's this huge fixed cost that it eats into everything else.
And it's post-tax, right?
You have to remember that. You're paying that with post-tax dollars. So you have to earn significantly more than $13,000 just to break even.
Which leads right to the silent drain on talent pools that the article highlights. Because at a certain point, the math it stops working for people.
Precisely. And that's where the career impact comes in. The data shows that 30% of employees have either quit or turned down a job because of caregiving duties.
30%.
But there's a nuance here that I found really important. 27% have declined promotions.
Declines promotions. That That seems counterintuitive if you need the money.
You'd think so, wouldn't you? But it comes down to bandwidth. They declined because they just couldn't make the logistics work with a higher workload.
So you have these talented people.
Right. Maybe people on your own team saying, I can't take that step up. I don't have the infrastructure at home to support that extra hour a day.
That is a huge retention crisis for companies. You spend years training someone, they're ready for leadership, and they self-select out because the ecosystem around them fails.
And that's where the opportunity lies. The source notes that 59% of part-time or non-working parents said they would work full-time if affordable quality care existed.
We are leaving so much productivity on the table.
So much.
And there's a long-term financial incentive for the individual too, right? It's not just about surviving the toddler years. It's about the compound interest of your career.
That's a great way to put it, yeah. If we connect this to lifetime earnings, the article points out that affordable access can add about $94,000 to a mother's lifetime earnings.
Wow.
That isn't just spending money, that's investment capital. That's retirement savings. So solving this puzzle is absolutely crucial for long-term financial health.
Okay, so we've established the why. It's expensive, it hurts career progression, and it drains the economy. It's a mess.
A total mess.
So now let's pivot to the how, because we are all about optimization here.
Yeah.
The source material devotes a lot of space to what it calls time smart home systems.
This is where we move from the macro to the micro. And the core concept here, I love this framing, is treating the home like a well-run organization.
Like a business unit.
Exactly. You wouldn't run a business without standard operating procedures, right?
Yeah.
SOPs. You wouldn't launch a product without a roadmap. Yet so many of us run our homes on pure improvisation.
Guilty as charged. I think hope is my primary strategy most mornings.
And usually hope doesn't find the missing sneaker, does it?
It does not.
And that's why it's so stressful. The text suggests implementing what it calls anchor routines. These are fixed points in the day that stabilize all that chaos.
Okay, let's talk about morning optimization first.
Yeah.
Because that's usually where the wheels fall off for me. What does the optimized morning look like according to Römer?
The recommendation is simple, but strict. Prep the night before. And I don't just mean like think about it.
Right.
I mean bags packed, outfits chosen down to the socks, and a single departure checklist on the door. It sounds so basic, but it eliminates decision fatigue.
Decision fatigue is huge. If you're arguing with a 4-year-old about which shoes to wear at 7 a.m., you have already burned a huge chunk of your cognitive battery before you even open your laptop.
Precisely. You want to save that willpower for your actual work, for the strategic decisions. And the source suggests a 15-minute buffer. Waking up slightly earlier, not to check email.
Which is what we all do.
But to create what they call breakfast talk time.
That sounds nice, but is it actually productive? Or is it just nice?
Oh, it's incredibly productive.
Yeah.
Instead of the morning being a series of barked commands, put on your shoes, eat your toast, let's go. That buffer allows for connection.
Okay.
And the source gives a great specific detail here, the one-question breakfast check-in.
I loved that. Explain how that works.
You preview the day and you name one simple goal. You ask the child, what's one thing you're looking forward to, or what's one thing you're going to do today?
It's almost like a daily stand-up meeting for the family.
It is. It validates the child's feelings about the day ahead. And from a productivity standpoint, a child who feels seen and secure is going to have a smoother drop-off. A smoother drop-off means the parent arrives at work with a lower cortisol level.
That's the hidden benefit. If you leave the house stressed, that first hour of your workday is usually a total wash where you just try to calm down.
Exactly. You're physically there, but mentally you're still fighting the morning battle.
Now, on the flip side of the day, there's the switching gears ritual. The source talks about the end of work ritual to prevent burnout and bleed over.
So important.
I think this is critical for anyone working remote or hybrid where your office is also your living room.
It is essential. The boundary between work and home has physically dissolved, so you have to artificially recreate it psychologically.
Well, how do you do that?
The source suggests a very specific sequence. First, close the laptop, actually shut it.
Okay.
Then silence notifications. But then, and this is the part people breathe for 1 minute, just sit, transition, and then step into family mode with intent.
It's like a mental commute.
It is. It creates that psychological boundary. If you don't do this, you carry the stress of that last Slack message right into dinner. You're physically there, but you're mentally absent.
Right.
The ritual signals to your brain that the work operating system is shutting down and the parent operating system is booting up.
Speaking of the parent operating system, the article has these really fun examples of what it calls micro moments.
Yeah.
I think we often feel like if we can't spend 3 hours playing Legos, we're failing.
Mm-hmm.
But the source says it's the little things that actually regulate the household's nervous system.
What stood out to you from those?
The 5-minute dance break, just let the kid pick the song. It's so simple, but it changes the energy in the room instantly.
It does. It releases dopamine and breaks that tension.
And there's the 2-minute stretch, or taking 10 deep breaths together when things get frantic, or even just using bath time as a low-pressure check-in slot.
And here's the expert analysis on why that matters. These aren't just cute ideas, they're stress reduction mechanisms. They convert chaos into connection. If you can lower the emotional temperature of the household in 5 minutes, you are preserving your own mental energy for the next day. It's strategic.
It's efficiency through connection. I like that. Okay, let's move to segment 3. We've optimized the home, the kids are happy, the morning was smooth, but we still have to deal with the office.
Mm-hmm.
The source material has a section on navigating workplace bias and logistics that I found really empowering.
This is where we have to talk about the perception gap.
Face time bias.
Yes. Even now, in 2026, the office culture historically has favored visibility over results. If you're in the chair, you're working. If you leave at 4 p.m. for pickup,
You're slacking.
you're slacking. That's the bias, regardless of your actual output.
So how do we fight that? Because you can't just argue against a feeling. The source suggests we stop just working hard and start documenting.
Correct. The strategy is to shift the conversation from hours present to outcomes achieved. You need to document your tasks, your timelines, your wins. The source explicitly mentions using weekly summaries as a tool for this.
So you're literally sending a, here is what I did this week email.
Or a Slack update, or posting it in your project management tool. But yes, if you are invisible because you're working remotely or leaving early, your output needs to be highly visible. You have to control the narrative.
So you force the manager to evaluate the work, not the empty chair.
Exactly.
That makes a lot of sense. It's about receipts. You have to bring the receipts. Now, what about the return to office conversation? RTO mandates are everywhere right now.
Oh, they are.
How does a parent navigate that without looking like they aren't a team player?
The source suggests handling this strategically by proposing core collaboration windows.
Which means,
It means you flip the script. Instead of saying, I can't come in, you say, I will be in the office from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. specifically for meetings and brainstorming. You anchor your presence around high-value collaboration, but you protect the pickup blocks on either end.
and there's a tactical tip here called calendar transparency.
This is bold, but I think it's really effective. Don't hide the fact you have to pick up your kids. Mark it on the calendar, focus block, or pickup window.
Just put it right there for everyone to see.
Yes, it removes the stigma. It allows your team to plan around you. If people know you are offline from 5 to 7, but you'll check in later, they won't panic when you don't answer a message instantly.
That's a great line. Secrecy breeds suspicion.
Transparency builds trust. And there's a stat here that supports the remote work argument, too, for anyone needing ammo for that negotiation.
Right.
Studies show remote work saved about 72 minutes per day on average. That's time that used to be spent commuting. If you can reclaim that, you can reinvest it in family or rest, which ultimately makes you a more sustainable employee.
Sustainable employee. I like that term. Because if you burn out, you are 0% productive.
Precisely. Burnout is the ultimate productivity killer.
Right. Let's get into the toolkit. Segment 4. We've got the strategy, but are there actual resources we're missing? The expert voice in the article, Felix, seems to suggest we're leaving money on the table.
We absolutely are. There is a whole infrastructure of support that many professionals they ignore it or don't know about it.
Like what?
The source lists specific programs like the CCDBG, that's the Childcare and Development Block Grant.
That sounds very bureaucratic. What does it actually do?
It provides subsidies for care. Now, income limits apply, of course, but it's worth checking. But for the higher earners who might be listening to the show, the Dependent Care FSA is the big one.
Okay, those are tax advantage tools, right?
Yes, it allows you to pay for childcare with pre-tax dollars. If your employer offers this and you have kids in care and you are not using
So
it,
you're just giving away money.
you are essentially voluntarily paying more taxes than you need to. It's an instant discount on your childcare costs.
And what about employer benefits beyond just the paycheck?
You need to audit your benefits handbook. Look for stipends. Look for backup care services. Some companies pay for a service like care.com, and the source mentions ERGs, employee resource groups.
I've seen those. Parents at company name.
Joining a working parents group isn't just about commiserating, it's about sharing intel. Which daycare has a waiting list? How did you negotiate your flex time? That is high-value insider information you can't get anywhere else.
The source also touches on the mental health aspect, calling it the oxygen mask principle.
It's the classic metaphor, right? Put your own mask on first. But it holds up. Parental well-being directly impacts productivity. If you're drowning, you can't be effective at work or at home.
The article suggests using EAP's employee assistance programs. I always thought those were just for serious crises.
That's a common misconception. Yes, they are for crises, but EAPs often offer referrals for childcare or parenting consultants. Instead of you spending 10 hours researching specialized care, call your EAP. Let them do the legwork.
That's a time-saving hack. You're outsourcing the research.
Exactly.
That is brilliant. Use the corporate resources to solve the personal logistics. And finally, the backup plan. The source says, a backup plan turns unpredictable days into manageable ones.
This is so critical. Kids get sick, nannies quit, snow days happen. The source argues you need a Swiss cheese model of defense. You need layers. You need a neighbor network, a care co-op. You need these things on your radar before the emergency hits.
Right, because if you're scrambling at 7:30 a.m. when the fever hits, the stress is exponentially higher.
Exactly. If you have the plan, you just execute the protocol. Okay, Plan B is activated. It removes the panic. It changes the psychology from crisis to contingency.
So we've covered a lot. We've looked at the massive economic costs, the home routines like the breakfast check-in, the workplace negotiation strategies, and the resource toolkit.
It's a lot, but the article really does a great job of synthesizing it. It takes this massive, overwhelming topic and breaks it down into, well, engineering problems that can be solved.
As we wrap up, I want to look at the conclusion of the source material. It emphasizes that success isn't about doing everything perfectly. It's not about being a robot.
No, it's about small systems and smarter choices. It's about reducing friction. You're not trying to be a superhero. You're trying to be a smart operator. You're building a system that can absorb the shocks of life without collapsing.
And looking forward, where is this all going? The source references a new legislative landscape.
This is the forward-looking part of our deep dive. The future of work isn't just about AI or better Zoom calls. It is about the infrastructure of care. The most successful professionals in the next decade will be the ones who advocate for fair evaluations based on results, not presence.
So the shift is happening.
It is. Policies are shifting. But for the parent listening right now, the shift from frantic scrambles to steadier rhythms, that is the ultimate productivity hack.
I love that. Steadier rhythms. That feels achievable.
It is achievable. But it requires intent. It requires you to stop viewing these things as interruptions to your work and start viewing them as logistics to be managed.
So what does this all mean for you listening right now? It means you stop apologizing for having a life outside of work and start building the systems that let you excel at both.
Right. It means using the breakfast check-in, marking your calendar for pickup, maximizing those tax benefits.
And realizing that by doing so, you're not being less of an employee.
No, you are being a more efficient, more focused, and more sustainable leader.
A fantastic place to leave it. A huge thank you to everyone for tuning into the SmartKeys podcast.
Thank you.
If you want to dive deeper into these productivity strategies, and trust me, there's even more detail in the text. The link to Felix Römer's full article is right there in the show notes.
It's definitely worth a read.
Make sure to subscribe to the SmartKeys podcast for more insights on the future of work and SaaS innovation. We'll catch you on the next deep dive.
Goodbye, everyone.
See ya.